So this is one of Donald Trump's people, and he's getting arrested. And effectively, this image right here, which I'm showing you, reflects everything that's happening in the USA. You read the description of it. It says, Trump's spiritual advisor just got arrested for molesting a 12-year-old, right? Read that again. Trump's spiritual advisor just got arrested for molesting a 12-year-old. The same movement screaming, protect the children, is stacked to the ceiling with predators, enablers, and men who treat power like a shield against accountability. And Trump keeps surrounding himself with them. These are what Trump's people are like. A lot of these people are fake Christians. They prey on the vulnerable. You can read more about it if you like. And I'm starting with this is because this is the state of USA. Like if you're wondering why things are crashing the way that they are, why everyone's fighting with each other, is because the people at the top are these kind of people. It's Trump's people, right? Former Trump advisor Robert Morris pleads guilty to 1980s child sex abuse. This guy was a former pastor. It said the church was called Gateway Church, and the spiritual advisor to Trump's 2020 campaign. He pleaded guilty in October 2025, so last month. 5 counts of lewd acts with the 12-year-old in Oklahoma. I'm starting with this is because just frankly, Trump and his people are sick. I think you already know that. And I think a lot of us are just waiting to see, justice served, and also waiting for these people to be moved from office so we can just go back to just sane reality. Every time I read the news on this stuff, it's just like, it's absurd. So for example, this is Fox News. They're just pumping this out today. The tariff payback from Fox News, right? Talking about tariff checks. President Trump says Americans could soon cash in on tariff revenues. Oh, really? With checks worth up to $2,000. Oh, now it's up to $2,000. First it was $2,000. Now it's up to $2,000, I guess. Hitting mailboxes by mid-2026. Okay. And so what they do is basically, hey, pay no attention to our scandals, pay no attention to our abuse. You're all getting checks in your mailbox up to $2,000 2026. It's all smoke and mirrors and a scam. You look at what Trump is saying today. He's losing his voice because I think he's just been screaming nonstop as his advisors and such. Listen to this.
Yeah. Mr. President, I have a question about Venezuela, but can I just first ask, the health of the president's always news. Your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Well, it sounds like there's a...
And you can see it for yourself. He's lost his voice, talking about getting angry at people around him. I think this is unraveling much quicker than people realize. I mean, you can see it in their faces. You can hear it in their voice, and it's in multiple things. Right? He's got his personal problems. He's got multiple scandals. He's got people around him getting arrested. You look at Stephen Miller today. Just don't pay attention necessarily to what Stephen Miller says, because he's just going to tell you we're winning and everything's cheap and everything's awesome. But look at his demeanor. These people look worn out.
Well, I agree with you that the Democrat media lies for a living, that they're professional liars. So it's a good opportunity to review the facts. Under President Trump in the last few months, we have seen the first significant reductions in prices and the cost of living since the last time President Trump was in office. For 4 years, we saw record-setting double-digit inflation upwards of 20%. And now under President Trump, inflation is back down to desired benchmark levels of a little bit over 2%. But to be clear, President Trump is doing more every single day to keep bringing costs down. President Trump...
All right, so he's going to go on. President Trump is awesome and everything's cheap, right? But when I saw this today, my first reaction, guys, Stephen Miller, okay, he sounds sick in 2 ways. One, he's sick in the head. You can hear that every day. But then just physically sick and worn out. I mean, I just feel like there's definitely a connection here. Isn't it obvious? You see Trump's not feeling so good. His voice sounds pretty terrible. Miller comes out kind of the same. And that was literally the first thing going on in my head. And then we know that the whole Epstein thing is getting worse for them. And then Trump's now saying, oh, I'm going to, side with releasing the files. I wouldn't hold my breath necessarily, but I think the walls are closing in. That's what I see. And then like I said, that's why I showed you just first with the arrest. You look at also what they're saying on Fox News, and they're basically telling you, you're all going to be poor. Don't buy gifts this Christmas. I'm serious. This is Fox News. Listen to this.
Budget, budget, budget. You need a plan. Also remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break the bank sending packages across the country, Dana. Focus on the people in your life, ages 3 to 18. That's my 30 seconds for you.
Jade, you're
So that's literally what they're talking about on Fox News, and is like, is this a war on Christmas? Because the Fox, they always act like everyone's attacking Christmas nonstop. But this is their discussions on Fox News, right? Don't send gifts. I guess we're only buying people from age 3 to 18. I don't know where you came up with the age 3 to 18 thing. I don't know. But that's what they're saying. And they're saying grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Isn't this nuts? This is what they're talking about over on Fox News. So they're preparing for the worst. Other people are getting arrested. Trump's going to tell you all the time that everyone's rich and everything's awesome. But, if you come out every day and you have to lie on national TV, it takes a toll. You're basically watching people sell their souls on TV live every single day. That's what this Trump people is.
Our country has become amazing again and really, really rich again. I will say that.
Yeah, as you lose your voice telling everyone that they're rich, right? I mean, and people, and I'll just tell you the truth, guys. People always say, Chris, how do you make videos every day? How do you stay young? I just tell you the truth. Like, it is a major stress for these people to go out and lie nonstop. I promise you, a lot of these people probably have eating problems, disorders, whatever. They probably take chemicals to keep going. I wouldn't be shocked if they all have some sort of med program or whatever that they're doing. Because seriously, selling your soul daily takes a toll, and you're seeing it in their faces, and it's like everything's melting down. And then Trump acts like you're all rich all the time. It's all a lie nonstop. So listen to Trump on this. He's talking to McDonald's people today.
The stock market has hit an all-time high 48 times during the last 9 months, and we're going to pioneer new heights even from that. These new heights of prosperity are going to be incredible. We're looking at affordability. We're going to bring it down for everybody because not everybody understands the fact that a great stock market is great for everybody, including 401ks. The 401ks hit the highest number that they've.
And here's the thing with this stuff, guys, and I've told you guys several times, basically what we're going into or into already, you could say, is a K-shaped economy. That's been the talk that everyone's been talking about, where basically the people at the top, their wealth isn't going up and increasing, and the people at the bottom, their wealth is going down. So you're having a major divide between rich and poor in USA, and it's increasing. And Trump, he basically just shows how disconnected he is all the time. I mean, basically, he's like, oh, guys, we're all so rich. We're all so rich. But it's mostly because he hangs out with him and his billionaire buddies and his worm-tongued advisors who are trying to get contracts for, government contracts for their buddies. It's all a scam. And so, yeah, in his mind, they're all having parties every weekend. They're all getting rich, but that's not the regular person. And that's why it's crazy then, if you watch Fox News, they say, well, but for your regular people, don't buy grandma slippers. It's like, what a bizarre I mean, it's just the Looney Tunes show in USA. And you have to understand, going back to say to the first person, they're all corrupt. They're getting right. It's like the preacher that goes on TV and tells you have to give them all the money to get to heaven, right? That's what they tell you, right? It's all a scam to older people who are desperate. It's sick. It's sad. It's televangelists from the 1980s mixed with Home Shopping Network. That's essentially what Donald Trump administration is.
Care of Venezuela. They dumped hundreds of thousands of people into our country from prisons. Nobody knows better than this young lady right here. She's done an incredible job with Tom Homan and all of your people. It's amazing. We have a tight border right now. Nobody comes in. But we had millions of people pouring through. A year ago, we had millions of people pouring through our border. And many of them came from Venezuela, including Tren de Aragua, the gang.
Right. And so what they do, and if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can, they'll just basically try to claim all the time that we're getting invaded by Venezuela or we're getting invaded by Mexico, and then we got to sick the military on them. This was a congressperson from the Republicans. They were talking about this today. It says Representative Carlos Jimenez suggested Trump should give Mexico a 2-week ultimatum before launching military strikes. So is that what we're doing? Are we attacking Mexico and Venezuela and possibly sending troops? it's so frustrating to go through this stuff. I mean, I don't know what's in MAGA's hearts, right? I can see polling data. I can see what they say on social media. But I always wonder because, you know, when someone tells you that you're all rich, but then like I look around, just reality, like companies are firing. It's hard for young kids to get a job these days, right? You'll see it like in stories of where, you know, college students can't get, you know, they graduate and they can't find work. They have to go back move in with their parents, and the government's been shut down. I just saw a story to where government workers are now coming back to work, and they got like this flood of emails and work and things that they, you know, because they've been gone for a while, that they got to catch up on. So there's going to be tons of slow paperwork at the government, and there's any number of things that people, you know, need to get done. It's just like the way Trump's running stuff is completely inefficient. And then I saw this also today. This is the White House, so they're not denying; they're actually embracing it. Number of foreign students in U.S. falls 17% over visa worries. I just did a video on this. We just talked about this, and the White House, because they're not denying it, they're basically just like posting it literally right on their page, right? Foreign student visas are down. And then if you want to read through all the comments, some of the Trump people are like, oh, it's so awesome that we're losing money. Oh, fantastic, we're losing money. We don't need any foreign money. Let's just live off Trump coins, I guess. I mean, it's a weird disconnect. And I think some of this stuff that you'll see on social media, be it comments on White House posts or whatever, it could be bots for all we know. Because sometimes you read stuff and it just doesn't sound like a real person, you know? I'll give you an example. If you see a headline and it'll talk about, you know, layoffs at a particular company or layoffs in the government or whatever, and you see all these people celebrating layoffs, it's strange. Like, do you know any regular people in your life are like, oh, I'm so happy everyone's getting fired? Like, who talks like that? It's like, so a lot of stuff you'll see on social media, you never know if it's real or not. But I'll just tell you this, it's the Fox News bunch. They basically sell their souls on TV every day. You can see it.
I would never tell you if I was rich. If I ever strike it big, though, there will be signs, Will. And here's going to be the major sign. The Benny Johnson Scholarship for Young Gifted Women, left-wing women. It'll be my own H-1B program. Here's how it goes. I will fund personally, out of my scholarship, their one-way ticket to a socialist or communist country of their choice. And they get a chance to pick. Just go in the bottom 50 countries. You can pick anyone you want. I hope that you pick North Korea. I hope you pick Cuba. I hope you pick Venezuela. But I will fund your one-way ticket there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bunch of really smart people, maybe just an AI, that tracks how quickly those chicks are at the embassy, the American embassy, begging on their knees, like, please, God, let me back in. I'll do anything. I'll be a barista. I'll make your frappe. I'll do anything. Let me back in. Like, that's what they'll say.
And you're wondering, like, what is this absolute bonkers nonsense? This is what people are watching on Fox News. Like, it's nonsensical discussions, yelling, screaming, right? That's their strategy. And then they erect statues to their hero, Charlie Kirk, used to do the same kind of stuff. Like, any sane person watches, like, you guys people are nuts. And so basically what this is all about is polling data came out recently that said, I think it was 20% of Americans would like to permanently move to another country. So 1 out of 5 of Americans like to move to another country. And then the data also came out was young women, I believe it was like 15 to 45, something like that. Like a large percentage of them, like 40% of them, so again, young women, would like to move to another country. So these dudes are making fun of that. Oh yeah, you know, you leave and you're going to be begging to come back, right? Like these people, you know, talking to these Fox News people, they really act like that, you know, abusive lover, right? If you leave me, you can't ever find anyone else. And these people act like they don't want to ever change. It's sick to watch in real time, and it's like I said, I think this wears on them. That's why I mentioned Trump you can hear in his voice. You can hear Stephen Miller looks sick today, both mentally and physically. And then you'll got this kind of stuff as well.
I said, now if I were a flyer and they canceled, I'd be extremely happy. Well, we're canceled, so let's forget it. But we were devastated. So I said, this is something you really love, right? Yes, sir. We were so honored. This was the greatest day of our life. I mean, it's really great. We just have incredible people in this country. It's an amazing story. And they hit. And then they said, skedaddle, the word skedaddle. And that plane went psh, like this. You know, when it drops a bomb, it goes down very sleepily because that gives it a better angle and, you know, more speed for the bomb. Very, very heavy bombs. And they go, boom. And as soon as those things, the one pilot, the first one said, skedaddle. And that thing just turned in its side. And it's so unbelievable. And knocked out Iran nuclear capability, and all of the Middle East became a different place, and now we have peace.
So the reason why I'm showing you this and make sure you understand it, the way Trump talks about attacking other countries and basically war, it's all a game to him. Like he talks like a child when he talks about this stuff. It's all a game to him, and that's how he treats everything, right? Be it war, be it the economy, be it jobs. It's all a game to him. He's completely disconnected from regular people, and you have to look at it. I know sometimes people say, "Oh, Chris, I don't want to hear Trump talk," or whatever. You got to see some of it. Because I think it's pretty obvious that he's in a downward spiral. You can see it in his administration. You can see it in him. Again, one of his people got arrested today. And then you look at the way they try to defend it. So this is actually Laura Ingraham, one of the Fox people. And she was writing, if our young people in large numbers are struggling for work in 2026 and 2027, right, basically talking about unemployment, Dems will win the House to begin impeachment proceedings immediately. And so I guess from their point of view, is the main reason that you need to vote for Trump is just to protect him? Is that what we're going with? Because, just from a Democratic, or just a, not Democrat, but just a, well, it is Democrat in a sense, not party, but just democracy. From the standpoint of your current leadership is failing you, you get different leadership. That's just how this game is played. And they're just like, guys, we gotta protect Trump. We gotta protect Trump. It's such a weird perspective. Then she's quoting Hassett, who's one of Trump's people, and this is what Hassett said. I think there could be a little bit of an almost quiet time in the labor market. Again, we're talking about unemployment going up. We talked about several times on the channel, the unemployment thing. Because firms are finding that AI is making their workers so productive that they don't necessarily have to hire the new kids out of college and so on, right? So as I told you guys, there's a couple ways this will play out. One is a company could, for example, fire half their people, right? It cuts costs for them. And then what they'll do is replace people with AI, or the people who stay will then have AI to act as assistants, basically eliminating jobs. And they're basically even talking about, hey, young people won't be able to find work. And it's weird because you'll get slivers of truth out of, Fox News and the White House every now and then, but then they'll twist it to make it sound like everything's great and you're all going to win. And when in doubt, love Trump, your, cult leader. And it's frankly sick. And then you have to understand, like, Trump and his cult leader, they're these people who get arrested for molesting kids. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.